There we go. We did it. We got it working. We are live. Let me go ahead and close those two things. And I should open up... Actually, I probably don't need it because I have the studio right here. Let me look at this. Okay. Oh. All right. So now I need to... make another scene. I'll just be face. And we'll do that as RJS YouTube. Just my face. And that seems pretty good. Hey Darren, what's up? Hey Fisto. How you guys doing? I'm just adjusting some things because I made a new scene. Appearing items. I want those to come from the center and fade. Zoom? Let's try zoom. And then we'll turn that on there. Okay. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Get rid of those two things right there. Now that's gonna have to do. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Do you like the video to look like this or like this? Which way do you guys think is overall better? Just curious what people think. Enjoying your day off. Your son is playing in the playground when you're trying to stay away from the sun. Yeah, I don't know which one is one. Do you like it with or without the moving stuff? Do you like it just me, or would you prefer it with the other stuff? I'm just curious. I feel like I'm a without the border. Okay. I moved my camera again, which reminds me, I need to look and do a color source. Oh, that's actually pretty level. I can get rid of this color source. All right. So what I think I need to do is I need to put something up there that looks cool. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm not sure. I need some kind of light up there. So I'm going to look around the house, see what I can find. But hey, I mean, you guys know me. I can't leave things alone. I'm incapable of leaving things alone. I always have to change things up. The NES Lego kit. I don't want the NES Lego kit. This angle makes the room look bigger. Interesting. And I am aware that you can see the top of the monitor right here. I wanted to have the camera just a little bit further away. Like I can't even reach it anymore. And I also figured if I put it over there, it'd be less likely to focus on the microphone instead of just me. So we'll see if that continues to be true. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a great day. Hold on. The show notes for today are right here. There's the show notes. What's with the grimacing face there, Fisto? Oh, because I don't want the NES Lego kit. I don't want plastic stuff. I've never wanted to have a house full of plastic stuff. When my kids stopped being interested in Rock Band and Guitar Hero and stuff like that, I was so happy to get all of that crap out of the house. Hey Kodiak, what's going on, man? Congrats on your first streamer code. That's great, dude. I noticed the mic because it blocked Pac-Man. Nice move. Oh, yeah. That's the reason I moved it, yeah. Hey, Ted, how you doing, man? So Kodiak just got a bunch of keys to give away while he's streaming. So Kodiak, that's what you ought to do, man. You ought to give those away on a stream. Like, stream yourself playing the game and give away codes while you're doing it. That way, that'll draw some people in, so they get to see what kind of content you make. That's your plan. Awesome. As Mega Mod, you have my permission to make sure that everybody in the Discord knows about your stream. All right? You can post it in the announcements channel, because that's kind of a big deal. I don't think I've ever gotten like a pile of codes to give away for a game, like ever. So that's really awesome, dude. I could put Pac-Man up there, which would look pretty cool. I think that's where I used to have it when I had my other camera lens. All right, let me check and see how this looks right there. Put that there. That looks okay. And then, boy, I think I might want to go to fade. There we go. I'll just do fade. We don't have to do fancy moving stuff. Ooh, why is that not working? Oh, hold on. Oh, there it is. It is working. I don't know. It took a long time for that to show up, though. That was weird. All right, let's get the chat popped out. So I can't use the Stadia Cast emotes on other channels. Bowser, unfortunately, you can't. I would highly recommend that you yell at YouTube about that. I think YouTube is like, they're taking these baby steps, and God, they just need to act faster. Yeah, you can only use the ones for the channel that you're on, and then the official YouTube ones. I'm in the mood to yell at somebody. YouTube it is. There you go. All right, let me windowed projector so that I can see what everybody else sees. And we'll go to this channel right here. And I want to make sure that this is not too wide. Oh, it's not wide enough. There we go. Okay. Hey, Andrew. How you doing? So let me just move this over here and that right there. And bam. Pretty happy with that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let's change that to be just the face. And I'll make this one be intermission. There we go. So if you guys could do me a favor and hit that share button and tweet out the stream, that would be awesome if you happen to be a Twitter user. Doing great. Glad it's finally Friday. I hope all is well in Bill Land. Well, I'll tell you what. We thought that, like, we had our air conditioner on. Okay, so first off, our electricity bill last month was $100 higher than it was the same month last year. And I'll admit that it was a pretty hot month, right? So maybe that was the reason. But it turns out, like, my wife went down in the basement to do the laundry. And she was like, there's a lot of water around the furnace. And the furnace is where our air conditioner is attached to. So she's like, there's a lot of water around the furnace. So I went down and I looked, and there was a bunch of water, and I was like, boy, maybe I should call the air conditioning people, because it was coming from a bunch of condensation all over the outside of the air conditioning unit. And you know, I kept putting it off and saying, well, I'll call them tomorrow, and I never got around to it. And then finally yesterday, by the way, yesterday I took the whole day off from content creation, and it was just, it was so nice. I love doing this stuff, but man, taking that whole day off completely recharged me. So anyway, I was kind of like struggling to figure out what to do with myself. I played a bunch of Celeste. I played some Heroes of Hammerwatch. I played some Elder Scrolls Online, and it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, I don't really feel like doing any of those things. I don't feel like playing any of those games. So I was struggling with what I was going to do with my time, because I had decided that there was 0% chance that I would create any content yesterday. I needed a day for just to hang out. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out what to do, and then I was noticing how hot I was, and I was like, man, oh yeah, I got a call about the air conditioner. So I called them, and the woman on the phone said, well, I got a guy in your town, like, right now. So, he'll be there momentarily. We're like, all right, cool, do it. So he showed up, and he looked, and he was like, boy, looks like you may have a leak in your refrigerant. So he put some stuff in there to help, like, leak sealer, I guess, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. And then we went down to the basement, all masked up, of course, socially distant. And he opened up the it was really weird. He opened up the air conditioning unit, like the part in there that does whatever it's supposed to do, and there was like a solid block of ice in there. Basically what was happening is it was working like it's supposed to sit at a few degrees above freezing, and that cools the air as it goes through there. Well, it was below freezing by a lot, and so there was just this big solid block of ice inside the machine. So we killed the breaker to the air conditioner, and he said, just, we're gonna leave this overnight. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. The ice will melt. There's gonna be about 5 gallons of water on your floor. So my wife and I went and we got a bunch of fans and had them blowing air at it, which really wasn't much of a problem at all. The fans, it was pretty hot, and the fans cleaned it up pretty well. And then we went outside and looked at the external part of the air conditioner, and he was like, this right here is all dirty from like pollen and stuff. So now that we've got the breaker off, take it apart and use a hose. I mean, you could pay me to do it, or you could just take a hose and spray it. Like get some soap in there and spray to get all of that gunk out of there. So we did that, and then he came back today. Now, once the ice was all melted, rechecked the levels, and we're good. And then we turned it back on, and because what would happen is we would set the air conditioning to be at like 75 degrees, and it would be like 83 degrees in here, and we're like, man, it's just not as cool as it used to be. It's just not working as well as we thought it would. So then once we turned it on, it was like instantaneous. So much more cold air was coming out of the vents, and I was actually a little chilly, so I had to like turn off the ceiling fans in the house, and I had to turn the thermostat from like up to like 76 or whatever in order to not be so cold. So now I know. Bowser says, when I was spent a summer in Texas working at Six Flags, our shop air conditioning would freeze up like that nearly every day. So hot. Yeah, that's because you had a leak. Yes, yay for working air conditioning. And today's not even really that hot. But yesterday was hot enough that we got out the like a little inflatable pool, and we set up some chairs around the inflatable pool, and we all sat there with our feet in the water, listening to music. It was fun. Fun day. And we had ice cream. Bad idea. Anyway, that's not why you guys are here. You're not here to hear me talk about my air conditioning. Well, yes, but there was also a leak, Bowser. Oh, that's awesome, Kodiak. I just realized that I don't have enough water for the show. And by the way, if you notice that I don't have the coolest stuff where the camera can see it, so I'm gonna have to move some of the cooler stuff like Rob the Robot and the Virtual Boy to be right here or right over there. I got some stuff to move around. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some more water, and then we'll record. While I'm gone, look at all the stuff on the shelf behind me. All right. Air conditioning is not very common in homes there. Where are you at, Kumna? Where are you located? You're in the UK? Kodiak's in the UK. Maybe you guys are neighbors. It's possible. Oh, yeah. No, T.F. Wagner, I used to work at an ice cream restaurant, basically. It's called Friendly's. I don't know if they're nationwide, but they were fairly common around here. And we would have to spend lots of time reorganizing the ice cream in order to get to the flavors that we needed in the freezer. That's where I got this scar. That scar on my thumb. I was making a banana split for a customer, and what I would do is I would take the knife and I'd go chop. I would chop off the two ends of the bananas, and then I would peel it real quick. And I was getting ready to chop, and somebody bumped into me, and the knife went right into my thumb, right here, and there was a lot of blood. It was gross. All right. Let's see. Where's the music? We're going to pause that music. And let me run that.
Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Rio 3DO system?
I still don't have that one memorized. All right. So hey, everybody, it is Friday, and you know what Friday means? That means it's time for the mailbag. Mailbag is where I ask you what you want to talk about, and we have a conversation all about that. I do that live over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/runjumpstomp. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Wii U ports on the Switch, our least favorite things about our most loved games, and what are the best fitness games out there. We also have some Nintendo news to talk about, so get something. I don't know what I was just going to say there. I screwed up the beginning. Delete. Let's try that again. All right. Here we go. Attempt number 2. Hey, everybody, it is the mailbag episode. This is Switchcraft episode 564. I can't believe we've been doing it for this long. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some of these are topics that I suggested. Some of these are topics that you suggested. If you want to get your ideas on the show, get a hold of me on Twitter using at RunJumpStomp, or you can join our Discord and leave messages in the mailbag channel. We got a bunch of topics coming from there today. But today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Wii U ports on the Switch. We're going to talk about our least favorite things about our most loved games. We're going to talk about the best fitness games. This is a topic that I've tried to get on the show a couple times, and I always end up talking too long, so I'm probably going to do that pretty early on because I did get a bunch of really good responses. But hey, this is Switchcraft. It is brought to you live every Monday and Wednesday over at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. And then on Fridays, I record it right here on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/runjumpstomp. And of course, you may also just be listening to this over on your podcast player of choice, which I don't know which one you use. I use just like the default Apple Podcasts these days. But Overcast is also pretty great. But whatever one you use, if you just search for Switchcraft, then you can find it and subscribe to it. And then you can listen to it while you're mowing the lawn or doing the dishes or something. Anyway, let's get started with the show.
When you've lost your last man, hold A and B to continue where you left off. Do this before the title screen appears.
Okay, so somebody in chat just said Bill treats fitness games like Jimmy Kimmel treats Matt Damon, which I love that. I love that ongoing joke on Jimmy Kimmel where he's mean to Matt Damon. But you know what? I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to start with that particular mailbag question because I want to make sure that I get it in today. Before I do, I just want to say a huge thank you to each and every person who went out and submitted either Nintendo Switchcraft or 143 Pixels as your favorite gaming podcast for the Podcast Awards. Won't know for a bit whether or not we were nominated, but to everybody who took the time out of their day to do that, I really do appreciate it. By the time you hear this, you probably won't be able to anymore. They're closing the nominations today. So if you're here live and you're watching, then, go nominate. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who did that. All right, let's start with these fitness games. So, there's a couple of different fitness games that are on the Switch, and fitness games are a thing they've been around for a while. And so there's a couple of things that I think need to be true in order for a fitness game to be effective. Number one, it needs to actually be a workout. You have to work and probably, break a sweat in order for it to do anything for you. And secondly, it has to be fun or you're not going to go back and do it because, a lot of people won't just go back and do it. I don't know about you. I hate working out. It is my least favorite thing to do. I do it almost every single day, and there has never been a time where I've done it and said that was fun. There's also never been a time where I've done it, where I've worked out and then said, boy, I wish I hadn't worked out. That's never happened. Every single time that I've worked out, I've been happy that I've done it, but I never enjoyed even 1 second of it. Mostly it's either I've got some those Bowflex dumbbells where you can twist the dials and change how heavy they are, which is really cool. And then I also have what I call the Russian pain machine, which is my indoor bicycle that I've got right over on the other side of this monitor here. It's got a big red wheel, which is why I call it the Russian pain machine. But I work out a lot, and this is not me bragging, I'm saying, but I always want to use the workout games because I just hate it so much. But I've never found a workout game that I really have stuck with, either because it's not fun or because I don't feel like there's a good enough workout to it. So I asked a question. I said, which fitness games do you think are better overall for staying in shape while we are all trapped indoors thanks to the pandemic? And I gave 4 choices: Ring Fit Adventure, Fitness Boxing, Beat Saber, and other, and people could reply with that. And 57% said Ring Fit Adventure. Now, I will say this. Ring Fit Adventure is, the newest of these. So I think a lot of people are picking the thing that is, in the forefront of their brain space. Oh yeah, Ring Fit Adventure. I remember that, Fitness Boxing got 10.8%. Beat Saber got 20% of the vote. And then other was 11.8%. So let's talk about what people said about their favorite fitness games. So Joe Barrett replied. They said, I feel like I've kept up with Beat Saber, while the others I've had a harder time going back to. I'm not sure the others are better for staying in shape, but not if I don't enjoy doing them as much. Gidget Von LaRue, who was on America's Next Top Podcaster with me, she said walking and kettlebells routine, to which I replied, somebody didn't read the tweet. Michael Mooney says Kinect P90X is not on my list. Right, well, I can't list everything, but I didn't even know that Microsoft had a P90X game that used the camera in order to help you do stuff the right way. I think that's really cool. That's very, very interesting to me. James Walters said, I've got a game called Fight on PS3. It was all motion boxing with training and everything. It was worth it. They said it was worth it. Webhead said Zumba on Wii and Just Dance 17. Both games get you moving and sweating. Granite T Rock says Just Dance. Andrew Lopez J says, I've lost 18 pounds with fitness boxing in 3 months. It's a great game. You know what? A lot of people know about Ring Fit Adventure. And that's like an $80 investment. Like it's pretty expensive. And you get that yoga ring or whatever you want to call that thing. You get the fitness ring that you hook your Joy-Cons to, which is awesome. But it's a pretty big investment. If you want to try a game with zero investment, try out Fitness Boxing. I believe it's published by Nintendo, and there's a demo. And I've played the demo, and I can definitely see that I could get a good workout. I'm not a fan of some of the music that's in it, but that doesn't mean that it's bad music. It just means it's not music for me. Savage says Ring Fit has a surprisingly holistic workout approach. I highly recommend it. Armin says still using Wii Fit U. Well, there you go. Richard Mortlock says, I just got myself Yoga Master for the Switch yesterday, as I'm an asthmatic and found Ring Fit hard work, so I thought this would do the job for me. It's really good so far. It's got a lot more stretching than burning off calories. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's really interesting. Thank you. Mimic replied, they said, never played any of these, but I have to go with Ring Fit Adventure. Debauched12 says, has anyone... No, we're not going to read that one. And then people also recommended Just Dance 2017 and 2018. So there you go. If you are looking for a way to stay in shape and play a game at the same time, a lot of people are giving you a lot of really good recommendations here. I will say this. If you haven't checked out, one of my other shows is called 143 Pixels. And each episode I interview a friend and they talk about a game that they really, really like. And while I was interviewing Brian Ibbett, who is on The Morning Stream and Coverville as podcasts, when I was interviewing him for season 4, which doesn't come out until like September, I believe, one of the things that he said is he has this really cool VR game for his, I think it's Oculus Go or Oculus Quest or something like that. And basically it is a game where you get on your bicycle and you're pedaling and you wear a VR headset while you're pedaling in order to play some game. And I guess you clip a thing to your tire so that it also knows how fast you're pedaling. And I thought that sounded really, really cool. I can't remember what he said it was called, but we talk about it on that episode. So that episode's not out yet, so you'll have to wait to hear it. But you know what? If you really want to know, tweet at him. He's at Coverville on Twitter, and I'll bet you he'll reply. Anyway, moving on.
As Nintendo begins to take on new forms, it's important that we can measure how addictive they truly are.
Oh my goodness, I almost died. Hey there, Chris. How's it going? Ooh, that was rough. Excuse me. Okay. I just had a night. No, I don't want to do that. You know what I wish that there was a way to do? So when you are streaming on YouTube, like after the stream, you can go in and put in time codes so that people can see when you're talking about certain things after the fact. And what I wish that there was a way to do was for me to hit a button and place a marker in my YouTube stream so that I knew this is when I finished talking about topic 1. This is when I started talking about topic 2. Like that kind of thing would be really, really cool. And, for live podcasting, stuff like that would be incredibly useful. All right. Let's see here. What's next? Chris says I missed the Wii U port talk. I haven't talked about that yet, Chris. All I can say, I'm 100% for it. I've missed a ton of these games, and I'm not willing to buy a Wii U for those. You should not be willing to buy a Wii U for those because it's, it's bulky, takes up so much room. I mean, I have it sitting on the shelf behind me, unplugged, and if I didn't have a shelf full of Nintendo consoles, I would not have this thing in my house. And that's not to say it's bad, but there just wasn't a lot of games for it. So, and a lot of the best games for it have been ported to the Switch. All right. Let's do the next mailbag topic. Here we go. Excuse me, I apologize. That cough is happening because I'm projecting too much. I have to learn to talk quieter because the microphone has a limiter on it. So even if I'm talking quieter like this, it really doesn't affect it all that much. So I need to learn to just talk quieter. All right, here we go. Our next topic comes from our community Discord, which if you haven't joined our community Discord yet, you can head on over to runjumpstomp.com, and there is a link right there. Or if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, there is a link in the description down below that will take you to our Discord. Join up. There's over 1,500 people in there that are waiting to talk to you about video games and TV shows and movies and stuff like that. We have a lot of really great conversations in there. So here's the next question. Came in from Link Legend on our mailbag channel. He said, what are your least favorite things about your most loved games and vice versa? And he said this would be a really great talking point for the mailbag. And I agree. I think that this is a very fun talking point. And, the thing that came to mind was earlier today, my son, he's been looking for a new game to play. And he ended up, he's been kind of flip-flopping back and forth between Mario Origami, Paper Mario Origami King, and Link's Awakening on Nintendo Switch. And he finally decided that he wanted to play Link's Awakening on Nintendo Switch, so that's the game that he ended up buying with his eShop cash. And then, he's been playing it like crazy for the past couple of days, enough so that he has a bunch of tiles and made a dungeon. And I thought that's, I played the game, I beat the game, I never bothered with making my own dungeon. But he made his own dungeon, and, I went downstairs and I went through his dungeon. It took me about 20 minutes to finish the dungeon that he made, mostly. I was kind of slow at it, I think, because I hadn't played the game in months and months and months and couldn't remember, I got to use this weapon against this enemy, and I couldn't remember which buttons did what. But I played through the dungeon, and it was really, really fun. And that's a really cool feature for that game that everybody kind of forgot because Nintendo locked it behind Amiibo. You have to have an Amiibo in order to share it. So immediately after playing it, I went online and I started Googling. I said, hey, how do I share that with friends? Because he wanted to put it in the Discord so that people could play it. No, you have to save it to an Amiibo and then give your Amiibo to a friend so that they could play it. Nintendo, I've got some news for you. Okay? I think that here's what Nintendo should do in order to make that game absolutely amazing. And Nintendo, you'll make a bunch of money at it too. All right? Do a battle pass. And I know people are listening to me. They're like, what are you talking about? Do a battle pass where you can get in on the battle pass for the season that is like $3 for the season. Okay? And then you can go into a dungeon, right? and explore that dungeon that has those particular like these new tiles on it, and fight the enemies in there. And if you beat that dungeon, then you get all of the tiles that are from that dungeon to use in your own creations. So then you can use those tiles to make your own dungeons in Link's Awakening, right? And then let people share those, so other people who either do or don't have the battle pass could participate and play through that dungeon. I think you would see Link's Awakening sales skyrocket. You would get money each season from people going through the battle passes to get these new tiles to make their own dungeons. And you would see a lot of streamers start streaming that game, as they would constantly have an influx of new content for that game. And streamers are always looking for an influx of content, right? This is a no miss plan. Like, there's no downside to doing this. Of course, Nintendo would have to have people design new dungeon tiles, but that's not the end of the world. And I'm not even asking for, like, me being able to make my own dungeon tile. I'm just saying, let me go into a dungeon, earn dungeon tiles each season, take those to make my own. And you would have people just constantly making new dungeons out of all of the different dungeon tiles, and then trying to compete for the best score. This is what Nintendo should have been doing all along with Link's Awakening, and it's a shame that they decided to lock it to Amiibo. And I'm not sure if the reason that they locked it to Amiibo was because they thought it would help sell Amiibo, or because they were saying, hey, you know, we've got all of these Amiibo, we have to kind of shoehorn in a way to use them in order to thank our players for purchasing Amiibo. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know why they did it, but I think that the way that Nintendo uses Amiibo 99% of the time is the thing that I don't like about the game. And I know it's optional stuff, but really, locking it behind Amiibo and making it so that I can't play, a dungeon set that somebody made from my community because I don't live next door to them, that's kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to turn this around to all of you. Here's what my question is. Since Link Legend gave me this awesome idea, I'm not going to ask the same question that he asked, but what do you think about this Battle Pass idea? I'm going to tweet that out and let you get back to me. Would this get, and maybe we'll talk about it next episode, but would you want to have this continuous influx of new dungeon tiles for Link's Awakening, or do you feel like you've already finished with that game and going back to it isn't really in your future? Let me know.
The Atari Video Computer System is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set.
All right, we'll save that. Let me tweet that out. I'm going to turn this fan on medium. All right. So what I was going... Okay. Do you think Nintendo should add a bunch of tiles for the dungeon maker in Link's Awakening? Let me rephrase that. If Nintendo added a bunch of dungeon tiles to Link's Awakening and let you share your creations with a code instead of an amiibo, would you go back and play the game? some more. I think I spelled awakening wrong. There we go. Yes, more dungeons, please. No. That windfish has sailed. Oh! I can't fit your joke in, man. I'm done with the game. I can't even fit that in. There we go. We'll set that to mailbag. Tweet. View. And we will add tweet to bookmarks. There we go. I wanted to use your joke, man, but I just couldn't. It wouldn't let me. All right. Okay, our next mailbag topic. Let's see. Okay. Our next topic comes from Malibu Bigby on our community Discord, and he said, hey there, not sure if you've covered this recently. In today's world, a lot of businesses are pivoting to different business strategies. Do you think the Big N should look at redirecting focus to porting successful first-party Wii, Wii U, 3DS games like Zelda's, Mario's Galaxies, and Samus Returns for the holiday season? I feel like it's a card they have been reluctant to play. But with no first-party release dates and more delays on those games, this sort of strategy could scratch a lot of itches for Nintendo fans out there. Maybe I'm naive in how quickly these things are to develop, but for me, these ports have been no-brainers since the Switch dropped 3 years ago. And I'd find it hard to believe something like Samus Returns would take a ton of time to port. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you very much for the question and the topic for us to discuss. There, Malibu Bigby. I think your name is funny, and I appreciate that. Okay. I would not say. I think I would. I'm going to take issue with one part of what you said here, and that is that Nintendo has been reluctant to do this. I don't think Nintendo has really held back on doing this very much at all. We've seen a lot of DX or deluxe games. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We had Pokken Tournament DX. Look, I'm not going to list off a bunch of these because you guys already know about this. But there have been a lot of them. Many games that have been ported from the Wii U. And that makes a ton of sense. The Wii U, in its total lifetime of sales, only sold 14 million copies 14 million units worldwide. The Switch in only 3 years has sold more than that in just North America. Okay? We're not talking about worldwide. We're talking just North America. In 3 years, Nintendo has sold way more. And because the Wii U only sold 14.7 million copies, and of course, many of these games do not have a 100% attach rate, excuse me, the idea that there's a lot of people who have not played these games, people who have missed out on these games, is something that you have to keep in mind. Which is why I've never once complained when Nintendo ports a game from the Wii U. Or, just recently we had the new Xenoblade Chronicles, not new, but the Xenoblade Chronicles Perfect Edition or whatever it's called. I can't remember right now. That was a Wii port. So I think that Nintendo has not really held back on that. Do I think that that's a great idea for right now? Absolutely. Nintendo has this huge back catalog of games that don't have any new motion capture to do. They don't have any new voice work to do. All they have to do is repurpose some of them for the Nintendo Switch. Now, obviously, there are going to be some games where that will work great, and there will be some games where that is absolutely not going to work. Games like Star Fox Zero. Star Fox Zero is a game that is incredibly dependent on having two screens. You've got your TV in front of you, and then you've got the Wii U gamepad that you kind of hold up like almost like a periscope on a submarine. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. So you've got this periscope-like gameplay where you're moving around and looking at these different things while there's also something happening on the screen. Now, I have not played Star Fox Zero, but I'm guessing based on the way that you played that game, that the likelihood of people playing that game with a single screen on the Nintendo Switch, I think that it probably just doesn't work. Maybe you've played it and you know that I'm wrong, in which case feel free to let me know that I'm wrong about it, because I'm speaking from a place of ignorance, having not played Star Fox Zero. It just didn't look appealing to me at the time. But then you have other games that have, like Malibu here mentions Samus Returns. Samus Returns is a game that came out on the 3DS, and it's the whole reason we know about Metroid Prime 4. Like, Nintendo would not have announced Metroid Prime 4 so early had they not felt that their hands were tied, because they were releasing a Metroid game on the 3DS in the same year that they were launching the Nintendo Switch. So they had to say, oh, and by the way, there's a Metroid Prime game coming too. And it's the reason that I never played Samus Returns on the 3DS, even though I heard nothing but really, really good things about it. The reason I haven't played it is because I was done with my 3DS. I'm finished with it. Every time I've gotten my 3DS out and played it, I've played it for about 5 minutes, and then I'm like, no, it's just not as good as the Switch. I'm going back to my Switch. The Switch is infinitely superior to the 3DS, in my opinion. You can disagree with that if you want, but I think it's just a lot better. And I knew that I wouldn't enjoy Samus Returns as much as I would if it were on the Switch. And so I would absolutely love to see that game come to the Switch. I would love to see lots of 3DS games come to the Switch. But again, you have to worry about the dual screen features. Were they tacked on in a way just because, hey, we have these two screens, we'll just move the map down to the bottom screen so you don't have to open the map separately? Or were they a required kind of like, you absolutely need to have two screens in order to get this gameplay functionality? And that's a question that you have to ask every time you think about porting a 3DS game to the Switch. And so I think that, yes, Nintendo should port more of their back catalog to the Nintendo Switch, because some people missed out on those games. They will get hit with backlash from people who've already played these games, and they'll be like, they'll cry about it and be like, I've already played this, in which case I will respond, don't buy it. You don't have to buy every game that comes out. So when a game comes out that you've already played, you can simply say, well, I'll skip that and I'll play something else. It's not like we don't have any games to play. There's thousands of games on the Nintendo Switch. So it's okay for Nintendo to take some of these old games and bring them back to the Nintendo Switch for the people who missed them the first time around. I know that I would excitedly fork over my money for Samus Returns on Nintendo Switch. Would you?
Mario is an Italian plumber who, under your control, enters the Mushroom Kingdom to fight off killer turtles and deadly ducks until he can rescue the Princess Toadstool.
right, save. All right. That's a really good question. I'm going to make a tweet. You need Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I want every Zelda to come to the Switch in a collection. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right. Mailbag. Mailbag topic. Would you... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to... I'll just see if people respond. I'm not going to tweet that out. All right. Where are we on time? We're at 18... We're at 27 minutes. Oh my God. I never get through as much as I want to get through. So what did I say I was going to talk about? Sports, least favorite things. Oh, okay. I covered those things. All right. Well, now let's get the Nintendo news. Well, I never get through all of the mailbag topics that I would like to, and for that, I'm sorry. But we got to talk about some Nintendo news real quick. So first off, I want to say that we saw this coming. We saw this coming big time. Of course we saw this coming. What did we see coming, Bill? Well, we saw that you could make your own custom fireworks in Animal Crossing. And I want you to think for a second. If people can make their own custom fireworks in Animal Crossing, what are they going to use? What are they going to make with that ability? I'm going to not give you the answer right now because I'm going to give you a second to think about it. What is it that people are going to immediately draw, make fireworks out of in Animal Crossing when given the option to draw whatever the hell you want? Have you figured it out? If you haven't, well, then I guess you've never met. You know what? I won't even say. It's so ridiculous. Of course, they were going to draw genitalia. Because what else are people going to draw? That's the default. People are going to draw genitalia. And that is exactly what happened. Nintendo gave us the option to start drawing our fireworks however we want, and they decided to draw genitalia, which I'm not going to put any of it up on the screen because you can figure out what it's going to look like yourself. I will say this. As a man in his 40s, I still laughed at this because it's funny, and it is funny. There's nothing wrong with chuckling at a good fart joke every once in a while. It's funny, and that's why people do it. But how did Nintendo not see this coming? Or did Nintendo see this coming and say, I don't care? Do they not care? Are they okay with this? I don't know. Does it bother you that they decided to do this? Does it bother you that Nintendo is allowing this? What's the solution? Do they make you submit your drawings to Nintendo first before and have them approved? That seems like a ridiculous set of circumstances for people to do. So, of course, genitalia now flopping around in the sky above your Animal Crossing town. I just think that is absolutely 100% hilarious.
Tunnel Runner from CBS Electronics, where the excitement never ends.
I'm not trapped. I'm not trapped.
Okay, one more thing, and then we're going to get out of here. And that is just I'm telling people about this video from Digital Foundry. If you don't know who Digital Foundry are, basically they analyze games to see like what resolution are they running at, what frames per second are you getting, and stuff like that. And they did an analysis of Rogue Company, which I've kind of said not so nice things about. I haven't said not nice things about it. I've said that I don't like it because the time to kill is really, really low, and I'm never going to be good at that kind of game. It's just not the kind of game for me, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be for me, but is it going to be a game for you? And this is a game that has cross-play. This is a game that has cross-progression, which I applaud Hi-Res Studios for doing. Like, those two things are awesome. I love when they do it. However, what you have to worry about when you're talking about crossplay is when I'm playing on my Switch and somebody's playing on their Xbox, do they have a huge advantage over me? Because they're running the game at 60 frames per second and I'm running the game at 30 frames per second. Well, Digital Foundry did an analysis, and it turns out that Rogue Company on Nintendo Switch runs at 60 frames per second, which is really awesome. Now, is it locked and super stable 60 frames per second? No. Sometimes it does dip down. And does the game look amazing on Switch? No, it doesn't. It's not going to look as good on Switch as it is on other platforms. The Switch is a tiny little tablet. Other platforms are these giant boxes that sit under your TV. So it makes perfect sense that the Switch is going to struggle, but they're not struggling so much in the frames per second department, which is where it really matters as far as a competitive shooter goes. So I think that that's really awesome, and they go into a lot more detail than I did. Check out the show notes over at runjumpstomp.com. This is episode 563. You can find that video so you can find out more about it. There we go. See you later, Kodiak. Thanks for coming by, man. Is there like a huge delay or something? You guys are replying to stuff that I talked about ages ago. I've got low latency turned on, so it shouldn't be too bad. All right. I haven't had the game crash at all. All right. Let me bring up my list of patrons. And we'll start. I got to record the segment for the... Where is that? Relationship manager. The executive producers. All right. Let me hit record. The following independent gaming content is brought to you by Abigail13, Orange Thunder, and Paul Bramblett. Actually, wait a second. Do I do a... Yeah, I got to do a sound after that. Oh, no. Cancel. Save. I'm going to do a... Let me move that. Hold on. Cut. Paste. There we go. All right. I gotta do sound. All right, here we go. That is it for our show today. I want to thank all of our producers. These are the people who are over at our Patreon, patreon.com/runjumpstomp, have joined at the producer level. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate it. Let's thank Bowser, Eric Smith, Jordan Forbes, Josephine, Matt Hadfield, Nintendo Fit, Travis McGuire, Trucker Paul. You guys are awesome. Oh, Brian Reese, I almost missed you. I don't know why. Thank you all for the support. I really do appreciate it. And I also appreciate all of our other patrons who, if you're at the Buck a Month Club, thank you for the support. If you are at the Early Access Club, then guess what? You're going to be getting these episodes early starting next week. And if you are at the producer tier or higher, then, I shout you out at the end, or if you're an executive producer at the beginning. You guys are amazing, and I really do appreciate the support. You guys really make doing this show worth it, so thank you very much. Let's wrap up the show with our outro. I want everybody to know that you can find our Discord, our Twitch, our YouTube, all of those have links over at runjumpstomp.com. And if you want to find out what this music is that you're about to hear, it's Corneria Star Fox remixed by Nope Block, which I love their music. Awesome chiptune music. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. This show is part of the Giant Sized Team Up Network. For more information, check us out at gstu.net. Save. There we go. We did it. Let me hit save. And we'll get the music a little louder. We got 563, 564. Yeah? Yeah. So, you know what actually I think I'm going to do? Do I have that saved? Let me make sure that's saved. File, save. Do you guys want to see a little bit of Hammer Watch? Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing a little bit of Hammer Watch. Well, it looks like people left when I said goodbye, as people are known to do. So anyway, thanks all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.